Annise Parker.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. You know why I'm up next? Because nobody wanted to follow Senator Butler. Can I have an amen on that? All right. Good afternoon. It's great to see you all today. And my most important job in any of these events, as always, is to say thank you. Thanks to all of you who are in the room. Thanks to all of you who support the work that we do. A particular thank you to our presenting sponsor, DaVita. All of our sponsors today, who I know they've been running on the boards. But also a thank you to the candidates and elected leaders who are in the room. You are our mission. You are our product, our mission, our work, our inspiration. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks also to the staff at Victory Fund and Victory Institute and now Victory Action. Without them, this event would not have happened. And it also takes a number of volunteers. And so thank you to the volunteers. And finally, the incredible staff here at the Grand Hyatt. Always thank the wait staff who are working really hard for us. You know, as this election cycle heats up, and I look around the room and certainly am inspired by Senator Butler's remarks, I know what our community is able to accomplish and will accomplish in November. Each one of you in this room is democracy in action. There are a lot of other places you could be this morning. Maybe more a lot more fun places you could be this morning, but no place that would have as much impact. You are democracy in action. You are working to ensure the people in our governments are reflective of the people they serve, from school boards to city councils to state legislatures to the United States Congress. You are democracy in action. We like to say at Victory Fund that representation matters, because damn it, it does. Representation matters. When we elect LGBTQ plus people to positions of power, we are all better off. It's not because there's some special magic in being the LGBT person in the room. Yeah, Senator Butler, sometimes it's like the worst thing to be the one LGBT person in the room, and I know there's a number of other elected officials here who can speak to that. But America's democracy is stronger when all of us are present. America's democracy is stronger when LGBTQ plus people participate in it. It is stronger when everyone is included and we are in and from every community. It is true not only because we are more likely to advocate and to advance policies and legislation that reflect the priorities of all of our communities, but our presence restores faith in democracy to those who are losing it. Our presence restores faith in democracy by showing our governments can look like them and will act in their interests when all of us are included. Now, look at what happened in Virginia last month. Actually, I'm going to ask you to back up and look at what happened in Virginia last November when Victory Fund candidate Rosia Hinson won a seat in the House of Delegates and became the first black out gay man to serve as a Virginia legislator. I know Rosia's in the room, and I'm gonna give him some props here. Rosia got to work this year to shore up our rights under a new, slim, pro-equality majority in both chambers of the General Assembly, and a governor with, I'll be kind, a mixed record on our rights. You know, along with out-state Senator Adam Evan, Rosia introduced and passed a bill to affirm marriage equality in Virginia. Governor Youngkin was pressured to sign the bill. I'm sure he was seriously pressured to sign the bill on both and not to sign the bill. But his constituents, many of his constituents backed us, and with a significant push from our record 9 LGBTQ plus lawmakers in Virginia, that bill is now Virginia law. I know the House lights are down, but if you are one of our Virginia legislators, would you stand up? Thank you. Thank you. You know, what does it mean? What does it mean to have that passed? It means that if the U.S. Supreme Court ever changes its mind on marriage equality, as Clarence Thomas promised, if they ever seek to reverse our rights, LGBTQ families and interracial families in the Commonwealth of Virginia will be protected. One more state where they won't just depend on the federal Respect for Marriage Act, shepherded through the Senate by our own Senator Tammy Baldwin. We build on each other's work. This bill is the product of decades of work building up a diverse, growing LGBTQ plus caucus in the Virginia State Legislature. In fact, it's one of just a few government bodies anywhere that has representation of every level, every letter of the LGBTQ plus community. That's what democracy in action looks like. The long slog for a more representative government yields results unimaginable in the state of Virginia just 10 years ago. And, you know, and for a lot of us, last few years have been a big step back. Feeling like things that we had depended on, the rock under our feet, had begun to shatter. But successes like Virginia's tell us it is still possible to make progress. We have clear examples, and we will continue to build on that work. The virtuous cycle it creates in getting more and more LGBTQ people to participate by running, by voting, by knocking on doors, by participating in our democracy at every level will beget more changes in the future. Again, Delegate Hinson, Senator Adam Evan, every member of the Virginia legislature, thank you for protecting our rights in Virginia and setting an example for the rest of the South. When I think of democracy in action, I also think of one of our speakers today, U.S. Senator LaFonza Butler. You know, and Wade listed off all the historic firsts, and she is a historic first, the first black out lesbian in Congress. It's worth repeating. The first out LGBTQ plus senator from California, only the third black woman to serve in the Senate in the entirety of our nation's history. You know, when I was elected mayor of Houston, I was only the 10th woman in American history to lead a top 10 U.S. city. Way past time for those numbers to change. The symbolism of her appointment is an inspiration. The tenacity she has displayed on the job is an example. Not only is she a key player on the all-important Judiciary Committee, as Wade mentioned, she's joined some of the most important fights in Congress since she's been there. And one such fight is her bill on LGBTQ plus mental health. The LGBTQ plus mental health bill, which was led on the House side by her fellow LGBTQ plus members of Congress, Sharice Davids, Eric Sorensen, I know Eric's in the room, Richie Torres. The Pride in Mental Health Act will help real people address real issues, will save our lives in our community, which we know faces disproportionate challenges when it comes to mental well-being. LaFonza's bill expands access to mental health services, requires cultural competency training, provides funds for life-saving research, and a whole lot more. Democracy in action, standing up for what's right. The moment couldn't be more urgent, and Senator Butler, we thank you for that. Our LGBTQ plus members of Congress demonstrate Victory Fund's theory of change. When LGBTQ plus leaders are in office, they will fight for their constituents, but they will also represent our community and all Americans. We are America. America needs us to stand up because we have to be in those rooms for America to be whole. And while we know Senator Butler is stepping down at the end of the year, someone else is too. We're going to talk about that later. She leaves a really proud legacy for us. It matters not how long you serve, but what you accomplish while you're there. We are proud of Senator LaVonza Butler, whatever she does next. We know representation matters. And it matters even more that historic firsts become historic seconds and thirds and fourths, and then we stop checking the tally sheet. If you are still marking milestones, you have not reached the end of the journey. When we're in the room, the conversation is with us. When we are not in the room, the conversation is about us. And there's still too many places where it's about us. And with ignorance on display. Each of you here today, each of you who generously supports the work of Victory Fund, you are changing the conversation. We have our work cut out for us this year. As with any election cycle at Victory, we're focused on growing the number of out LGBTQ plus elected officials at every opportunity. There are campaigns that will decide legislative majorities in swing states that you're familiar with, states like Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, New Hampshire. They're campaigns that will achieve important milestones for our community, but also establish a bulwark for the protection of our rights. I know, you know, that we are on track to elect our very first out transgender member of Congress this year. Sarah McBride in Delaware, who you'll hear from in a bit. You're going to hear from her in a minute. I'd just like to remind everybody, Sarah and Victory go way back. She joined us as an intern. That's where she started her political career, was right at Victory. And we're beyond proud of her and honored to stand with her as she prepares to make history in November. Although, again, she's not running to make history. She's running to make a difference. She's running to make change. She's running for all of us. And we have other opportunities to increase our congressional representation. This year, we're working to elect the first out LGBTQ plus person from the South to Congress, Julie Johnson in my home state of Texas. As well as the first out LGBTQ plus Latina in Congress, Emily Randall of Washington State. And we're working hard to bring Mondaire Jones back to Washington as part of a larger effort to win back the gavel for a pro-equality majority in the House of Representatives. In fact, anywhere you look on your ballot, LGBTQ plus leaders and voters will have a meaningful impact this November. You know, in Wisconsin, enthusiasm for re-electing State House Democratic leader Greta Neubauer in Racine will drive votes for re-electing, wait for it, U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, ensuring we retain our only out U.S. Senator next year when we lose Senator Butler. It's important that we protect Tammy's seat from that guy from California who thinks he can carpetbag into Wisconsin. Thank you. Somebody's paying attention. In Palm Springs, our historic candidate, and I talk about this all the time, that everybody talks about coattails. Oh, there's going to be coattails, and they're going to pull our candidates up. They got it wrong, particularly this year. Yes, there's a coattail effect in politics, but there is a push-up effect as well. Our down-ballot candidates inspire their neighbors, encourage their friends, drag their families to the polls, and when those folks are there, they will vote up ticket as well. Our historic candidates for the State Assembly in Palm Springs include Christy Holstedge and Lisa Middleton, two experienced council members and rising stars. Christy will be one of the first bisexual women, and Lisa will be the first out transgender woman in the California legislature. Voter enthusiasm for them will help turn out votes for our congressional candidate, Will Rollins, who can flip a seat and take out one of the most corrupt and anti-LGBTQ plus members of the House. Political coattails, yes, can pull up down-ballot candidates, but we are the secret sauce of this election. Our candidates at the local level will inspire people. City council candidates, school board candidates, even our congressional candidates, pushing up, bringing people out. And victory operates in this space where no other national organization does. And that's always been our mission and our strength. Those down-ballot candidates, those races. And you know, maybe it's hard to get excited about a House of Delegates candidate in Virginia that you've never heard of and yet you don't actually get to vote for until you realize the impact that a Rosa Hinson can have in pushing something forward that has the potential to change your life down the road. That's the work we do. We are planting seeds all over this country that are going to take root and sprout and flower in November. And I have promised myself over and over again that I would not say this is the most important election of my lifetime. Frankly, winning the mayor of Houston, but that was the most important election in my lifetime. But this is a critical election. Democracy is at stake. We know democracy is on the ballot. We are democracy in action, and we have to take the energy and excitement in this room and bring everybody we meet, everybody we know, everybody we touch when we leave this room with us through this election cycle so that we can stop the bigots in their tracks in November. Victory is proud to be nonpartisan, and we are proud to support Republican and Democratic and Libertarian candidates where it is appropriate. But Donald Trump cannot be the President of the United States again for our community. And I am asking you to reach out to everyone who agrees with us and agrees with you on that, to say, let us work together, shoring up our democracy from the ground and building it up to make sure that the future we have is brighter than the today we live in. The opponents of decency and the opponents of decency, the opponents of democracy are on the march. We have to be just as energetic and as committed and as fierce as they. The LGBTQ plus people we elect this year will not only fight for us in office, but they will ensure young people and others in our community believe that democracy and our political landscape supports them. They will see themselves as part of it. They will know they are part of us. They are the community. This is about more than our rights as a community. This is about helping democracy flourish when so many aim to tear it down. When November 6th gets here, the day after Election Day, don't be left asking if you did all you could to save our democracy from a hostile takeover. Our lives are at stake, our country's at stake, our democracy's at stake. You must act now. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for all you do. There is more work to come. Let's share that burden together. Thank you.